They invited me to dinner to say thank you, then told me I was being replaced by the CEO's daughter. It was supposed to be a celebration. A private dinner with the CEO and his family at his lakeside estate. Wine, food, laughter, a toast to the future. That's what the invitation said. To honor your years of service and our next chapter. My name is Marcus Vale, I am 44, and for the last 16 years I helped build Vireon from the ground up. Back when it was 4 of us in a moldy office above a laundromat, betting everything on one piece of software. We made it. IPO, global expansion, awards. And me? I was the chief operating officer, the right hand, the guy who didn't just dream, I executed. But in the world of tech and power, loyalty only matters until legacy gets in the way. The dinner was at Christopher Rain's house. Founder, visionary, CEO, my boss, my friend, I thought. The estate was ridiculous. Modern glass surrounded by pine with a dock that stretched out into the lake like a tongue daring you to walk off it. His wife, Juliet, greeted me at the door. She was always kind, though distant. Her smile was tight tonight. Marcus, glad you came. I wouldn't miss it, I said, forcing warmth. Inside the table was already set, candlelight, crystal glasses. Their daughter Ivy was there too, 20, maybe 21 now. I remembered when she used to come to the office during school breaks. Loud, bright, oblivious. Now she was wearing a black blazer and heels too sharp for someone with no resume. Uncle Marcus, she said, arms out. I smiled. Ivy, it's been a while. I know, like, forever. I've been at Stanford, business major. She beamed like she'd invented degrees. Juliet poured wine. Christopher came in last, of course. The king arrives when the table's full. Marcus, he said, brother, tonight's about you. We hugged. I wanted to believe it. Dinner was sea bass and saffron risotto, expensive flavors masking tension. I smiled through stories, let Ivy interrupt twice, and watched Christopher's face, too calm, too careful. He raised a glass near dessert. To Marcus Vale, he said, the backbone of Vireon, the man who turned my chaos into clarity, who made the impossible happen again and again. Everyone clapped. I nodded, humbled. But he didn't sit. And, he continued, who has positioned us so well that it's finally time to transition, to evolve. I blinked. Transition? He looked at me like a parent breaking bad news to a child. You've given your soul to this company, Marcus, and I'll never forget that. But we're shifting our direction. Fresh energy. A new vision. Something tightened in my chest. Christopher, what are you saying? He gestured to Ivy. Ivy's coming on board as interim COO, effective immediately. You'll remain as an advisor, strategic, less operational, more ceremonial. My hands went cold. You're replacing me? I asked, voice low. Juliet winced. Ivy is the future, Christopher said. You built the foundation. She'll build the tower. I looked at Ivy. She smiled. I'm really excited. I turned back to him. I gave you everything, I said. I bled for this company, and you're handing it to your daughter like a birthday present? He sighed. You don't have to see it that way. How else should I see it? Juliet stood abruptly. Let's have dessert. No, I said. I think I'm done. I drove home without music. My mind reeled. Betrayal is loud when it's dressed as gratitude. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. But on the third night, I remembered something. I wasn't just the operator of Vireon. I was Vireon. The systems, the processes, the silent efficiencies, the contacts, the compliance workarounds, the vendor relationships. Ivy had never touched any of it. She didn't even know what she didn't know. And buried in the vault of my mind was something else. Something only I knew. 5 years ago, Vireon faced a regulatory crisis, a licensing error in our core product. If discovered, it would have tanked our entire European Union rollout. Christopher panicked. I did not. I built a workaround. Quiet, legal gray, complex. We buried it in operational architecture. It kept us alive. And I kept it silent. There was only one map to that workaround. I wrote it by hand, on paper, and kept it in a safety deposit box under my name. If Ivy touched that code without understanding the bypass system, the entire product line would trigger a security fault within weeks. And if regulators saw that, Vireon would burn. I was not vindictive by nature. I was not vengeful. But I was tired of building kingdoms just to be exiled. So I did one thing. I waited. 6 weeks later, Vireon launched its next product cycle. Ivy gave her first press interview. We are agile, we are faster, we are cleaner. 3 weeks after that, the system went down in Germany, then France, then Sweden, data licensing failures. An open letter from a European Union commissioner followed. Then headlines, then investors pulling out. Christopher called me 10 times. I did not answer. On the 11th, I picked up. Marcus, he said, we need you. I let silence fill the line. You knew this could happen, he said. Yes. Why did you not say anything? You did not ask, I replied. There was panic in his breath. She is drowning. She was never trained to swim. He paused, then quietly, please. I showed up to the office the next day, not for him, but for the people who had not betrayed me. The teams, the developers, the assistants who worked weekends with me during a launch week. I met with the European Union auditors. I laid out the workaround. I cleaned the mess, quickly, legally, and decisively. By week's end, the fires were out. And Ivy? She never came back to the office. She returned to Stanford, I heard. Or maybe Bali. Who knows? A month later, Christopher stepped down. Health reasons, the statement said. They offered me the chief executive officer position. I said no. Instead, I nominated someone who had been with us from year 2, a woman named Devika. Brilliant, honest, sharp. She deserved it. Me? I left. Now I live in coastal Maine. I write code when I want, teach at the local college, watch storms roll in off the water like angry gods. Sometimes I get emails from old investors begging me to return. Sometimes I get silence. I am okay with either. Because now I know the truth. Loyalty has limits. And sometimes the best legacy you leave is knowing when to walk away from the one that tried to erase you.